sorry. Okay, I got it. Oh yeah, so that would be the okay. Oh no. Well, so its ancestor would be section one, which itself
Yep.
is not positioned, right?
Yep.
Wait, no. Section one is positioned.
Is it
Am
now?
I? Wait, hold on. Now I'm a little
Section
confused.
one.
It's not
No, no,
static
no, no.
though.
Just it is static by default.
But you got the oh
Right?
never mind. Oh, okay, I'm blind. Okay, I'm yeah, I got it. Okay, so its ancestor would be the body, and then you're saying to the right. Okay. So Lauren four is actually immediately 0 pixel to the right of the border of body, which would be almost like bring out of the page. I mean, yeah, okay. All right, I get it. Somehow I feel it should be
I
on the
know. I know.
damn,
I
man.
know. I know. So again, that's why I say it might require a little
Whack.
Pilates,
Whack.
but but if you know to me the thing that has helped me not get confused with this, that I've seen help a few folks not get confused with this, is always remembering that baseline, right? Absolute positioning, it's nothing special. It's moving elements relative to something, right? But now, unlike relative, where when you move something that's position relative, it's just moving relative to where it was supposed to be. With absolute, there is another layer that gets added to where it's no longer moving relative to where it was supposed to be, but now it's almost using some special parent, some special, not parent, some special ancestor that has to be positioned. If that guy is not there, then it's always looking for the parent. I mean the body, right? It's almost like in your chain of command, if let's say like I don't know, like let's say a commander, right? If say like in your chain of command, let's say there's no commander, then the guy above him becomes that guy. And if there's no guy, the guy above him becomes that guy. Who do you report to? You keep going up and up and up. And if that guy's not available, you just, I don't know, go to the president or something.
Yeah, but
It's
this is
literally a
like
chain of command thing.
yeah, but this is like to the right of the side of the body though.
No, you just
Like
overcomplicating it for no reason.
all right, I got it. Yeah, that's weird.
So check this out. So if I told this P tag, if I wanted, let's say, if I wanted this P tag to also be bordered, right, to show you, really what that P tag looks like, and let's say bordered like that, then you see that bordered. No, it's a box. Did I? No, I just wanted a box. It's just a box. If I put a box around it like this, you will see. Let me just take this off, right? So I'm taking this off like so, and I want to show you what this thing looks like by default, right? By default, this is my lorem, right? Lorem four. That's my paragraph. Matter of fact, instead of making it a box, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna say highlighted like so, and then I'm gonna come here and set up a highlighted class, and I'm just gonna say background uh, color is yellow, like so, right? So you can see what lorem 4 is, right? I want to show you something very, very interesting. As soon as, unlike relative, if I position this guy like, hey, position relative, like so, nothing changes to this paragraph. Nothing. I did not move it. I didn't do nothing. If I change this from to absolute, I want you to see what's going to happen. Watch that alarm really close. Absolute. Save it. Look at that. So that's one side effect of absolute. Whenever you turn something into absolute, all of a sudden it just fits its content. And if I say, all right, sir, it's more. It's not, it's more so not really, not really, and I'll explain what's happening really, but yeah, just give me 1 second to make sure that I could, explain the whole movement, and I'll tell you what just happened. And if you're interested, that element just lifted off the page. It's like hovering or levitating on the page, but just that's another topic in a minute. But if we look at this Lorem 4, when I say position absolute and I say, hey, bottom, I'm saying your bottom, this bottom right here, this bottom, I want 0 pixels underneath it relative to the body, i.e., to its, because there's no closest ancestor that's positioned. Now, literally count from the body, put 0 pixels, and slap this element there. So if I save, hopefully you can see that Lorem is literally right there. And then somebody's like, oh, but the body shouldn't be like right damn near close to the end. I think the body comes with like a padding as well. So if I had done a whole reset, you would see just edge to edge with the thing. So far, how much sense does this make? Just bottom 0 pixels. How much sense? 1 to 5. The fact that this paragraph now is moving relative to the body. So if I say right 0 pixels, there it is. So what do you think would happen instead of this if I say top 0 pixel? Where do you think it will go? If I save this, where do you think this thing will go? Top 0 pixels. There you go. Top left of the body. How much sense does this make before I start throwing a bunch of wrenches in here? Okay, so now that was what happens if there is no closest positioned ancestor. But now, let me say that actually to make things interesting, you see how this first section 1 is red. And if you look at the section 1 that's red and you look at where the body is, it's almost like if I give the body a border, it will be right around the same red, the top one. So if I say class, let's say box, you will see that right now, this is where the body is. And then for that matter, I'm not going to make, so you can see the body is all black right here. So if I went ahead, so does everybody agree that section 1 is the closest ancestor of my Lorem 4? So if I went to section 1 and positioned section 1, how can I position section 1? What would I have? What declaration would I have to put in here to make it positioned? Yeah, I can give it a position absolute, but hopefully, if you remember the side effect of making it absolute, let's just enjoy the chaos that just happened. So yeah, you don't want to use absolute to just position things. Your best bet is to use relative. Track, nipping, yes or no? You probably don't want to do that, right? So, but even though this right here, yeah, it will make that section positioned because its position is no longer static. But if you're just trying to flag your container to be just positioned so that you can move any element relative to it, you don't want to jack up its all whole dimensions. So use relative. putting a position relative here is the same thing as like, yeah, I just tagged it. Nothing else. I'm not messing nothing up. I just tagged it to be positioned. Therefore, do you see how I learned four instantly? If I comment this out, learn four is 0 pixels to the top with the body. But as soon as I give it a closest positioned ancestor, that guy's gonna just it's gonna track the closest positioned ancestor, and there you have it. How much sense does that make? So if I wanted to put Lauren 4 bottom right hand corner of my red guy, it's a matter of make this section positioned and then just, bottom and then right. Easy there, right? Not too bad, is it? All right, play with that stuff. You know, try moving around some of these other paragraphs. Just take some time to wrap your head. 100%. Like I said, it's some Pilates a little bit, but as long as you remember and then I'm gonna share these slides, right? Like remembering it's relative to where it's supposed to be when it's relative, and then when you go to absolute, it's relative to the closest positioned ancestor. Yeah, please grab all the screenshots that you can, okay? And I'm gonna share, you know what I mean? I'm gonna share all this stuff, and then yeah, you're gonna practice them a whole lot. But conceptually, as long as you understand that, I'm pretty sure somebody's like, but I can't for the life of me, I can't figure out why. Like, why would you use these things? Like, what? Can anybody see any any use at all? Any use for these positions? At least for absolute. Have you ever seen have you ever seen those pictures that are really well centered and they have like a big all freaking heading dead center? It kind of seems like it's kind of like, floating on top of the image. There you go. That's that picture frame. And you can have a div. Inside of that div you have an image. Inside of that image you have like a heading. As long as that image and that, as long as that image and that H1 are inside of that div, you can move that H1 wherever you want inside of that div that contains the image. So if you dead center it, it looks like the image is under the heading, but not too fast. The reason why I'm saying not too fast, I kind of, I said a little bit of something about when, let me just comment this out and let me take this off just so you can see what it looked like before. I showed you how by me just putting position absolute here, all of a sudden my guy just boom, just snapped, shrunk. It's like what's the deal? The best way to show you what's happening is this. Imagine that Imagine that this green and this teal guy, instead of giving a border color, let me give it a background. Not even this teal. Let me say the red. Yeah, let me say this guy, this red guy. Let me take this off. Right, taking this off like that. Save. My paragraph is there, and then let me then do the following, and I am going to, because I'm trying to show you. what will happen. Okay, so let me do this, put it like this, and then I'm gonna put it all the way to the top. So top 0 pixels. And then once I put it at the top, I want to set all these other guys instead of having them have borders. So I'm gonna take this guy off. I'm gonna have it move relative to the body, and instead I'm going to take this guy off, and then what I'm gonna do, instead of these sections having border colors, I'm gonna give them background colors. So back, and then you don't gotta do this. I'm just trying to prove a point of what's going on. So what I'm about to do, I'm all right. So we got our alarm. If it was not absolute, it would be right here, like so. Now let me do this, and after this p tag, I'm about to put like almost like 20 other p tags in here. Gotta prove a point, right? So 20 of these, and then I'm gonna go down and put lorem ipsum in all of them. So lorem ipsum in all of them. Wrap it. This thing is about to be nuts, like so, right? You scroll up, things is like that, right? Now, if I was to put, or even let me move this p tag. The thing that I'm trying to prove is showing you what happens when I'm saying that this element lifted off of a page. It's no longer following the flow of any of these other elements. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put dot lorem 4 right around here, or yeah, right around there. Save it. It's just moving up, and when I put position absolute on it, and said top 0. Do y'all see how it's, this element is literally on top of another element? It's almost like there are layers. Y'all see that or no? So we say that whenever you use position absolute, it, it's as if that element lifts off the page, and that it's like it takes it out of the flow of regular elements. And that brings up something called the Z index. Anybody came across that? Right? So when it comes to the Z index, you can imagine like, I don't know, X, Y, and then Z index being like that depth, right? So whichever one has the highest Z index shows up above others, right? Literally, it's like 3D, right? Like it's like if you think about this plane, that Z index is the one that's up here. So the one that has the highest Z index is going to be above every other element. And the reason why this is very important is this: you are going to deal with nav bars all the time. And I know somebody here was dealing with nav bars. When we started this class, I heard it, right? So what we're about to figure out is, how do people say build things that look like that? You see how my nav does not move? It's as if everybody else is scrolling underneath it. Everybody see what I'm talking about? So all I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you that there are two more positions that I have not talked to you about. Two more positions I have not talked to you about. Go figure out what they are. Go figure out how they work. You got about 10 minutes and you're going to have to come and tell me what they are. And by say you're going to come and tell me, I need two volunteers. One that's going to cover one of those positions, and another one is going to cover another position. So go take 10 minutes, figure out what those two other positions are, how they work. When you come back, I want two volunteers. If I don't get two volunteers, y'all know how this go. I'm going to volunteer some people. So 10 minutes, go ahead. Two, there are two other positions. Your job is to figure out what those two other ones are and how they work. Literally, that is your homework right now. Like, this is your mission right now. So, learn about two other positions, but forget about the whole breakout rooms and stuff like that. Just figure out two more positions. How do they work? I need two volunteers to cover how each one of them work. Any question about what I want you to do in the next 10 minutes? I guess I should have wrote 10 here. All right, do it. And then those two, they're going to have an answer to what I just showed you. 10 minutes. All right, 5 more minutes. Anybody finished figuring out all those two and how they work and they understand how those two work? All right, got David, Kai, Ken, all right, Paul, Blair. All right, cool. Perfect. Well, any okay, all right, Jay. Roger that. Okay, well, can I get two volunteers? Okay. All right, Kyle, was that sure? Like, you want to do it? All right, cool. Well, you were the one that was super motivated to type that sure real fast than anybody else. All right, Ken, did you want to go or did you say you were done? Or did you want it? I think you were done. Yep. Okay. So there you go. So that's Kyle and Ken. Well, Kyle, since you volunteered first, you get to pick whatever MOS you want, man. Pick whatever position you want, and you're good to go. Pick. You get to pick. Pick whichever one you want to show us, and then show us. Kyle. I know I just scared. I got one. Kyle, can you hear me? Yeah, I cannot hear you at all, Kyle. If you're saying anything, I cannot hear you. Yeah, your mic is not even turned on, sir. So I don't know. He probably just got kicked out instantly when he tried to share some. I'm pretty sure that's probably what happened. Yep. Wow. Yep. All right. There you go, Ken. As luck would have it, man. Kyle is just not gonna do it. Ken, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I'll jump in.
Let's do
Do you
it,
need me to share my screen or do you want me to just
please.
explain what
Oh
it
hell
is?
yeah! What? Nah, you're not gonna explain what it is. You're gonna have to show us how this stuff works. Let's do it. Share your screen and show us.
I don't have a share screen button.
Mm. Okay, that is totally on me. And then, okay, I see that there's some folks that got kicked out earlier, so they're here. Boom, everybody's presenter now. You should be good to go, Ken.
Okay, so
Yep.
I have this blocked off a little bit so that they can't see the other one. Okay, so I'm guessing this is what you were talking about. So there's a sticky element also in
Mm-hmm.
relative to position. And this
Mm-hmm.
one works between relative and fixed. It's not really fixed and it's not really relative. It can interact with your scroll bar in such a way that within the example, for instance, you can have it stop at the top of your screen as you keep scrolling so that
Mm-hmm.
the information always remains on the screen. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example of that. Let me make sure because I was messing with this and it wasn't working properly. So here is this green portion here that they have labeled sticky. Okay, and we can
Mm-hmm.
see as we scroll, the sticky stays on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
That is done right here. They have this div class here labeled sticky,
Mm-hmm.
and they basically
Mm-hmm.
have 0 at the top, I guess, which is
Mm-hmm.
telling it to become. I don't want to say the other positioning, but it becomes the other position as it reaches that point,
You got it.
stays on the
There you
screen.
go. There you go. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, like in English, right? It becomes fixed, right?
Yeah.
But the cool thing about that, right? Can you change, um, go and cut, you see in the HTML that they have, put that guy, the div with the sticky, put it after the last div. with the pick, cut it out, put it there. Yep. And then instead of 0 pixels, basically, uh, wait, it disappeared. What the hell? Okay. You gotta put it in that div. So yeah, I mean, take instead of div.sticky, forget that div.sticky. Just keep it there. Keep it there. Keep it where you got it. Just go down, hit enter, and then just on the styles, take out that div in front of the dot sticky. In the styles, up top in the styles, take out that div.sticky. Just keep the dot.
Take out the div dot
The div.
sticky and
Yeah. Yeah. No. Just keep dot sticky. Get rid of div that was in front of it.
okay, I see.
Okay. And then instead of top 0, make it top 20 pixels. All right, run it.
Oh,
Uh,
there it is. It's all the way on the bottom.
uh, that's
Oh, they because they have
the
2000
sticky.
pixel padding here.
There you go. Yes. Just keep, give it 100 VH instead of, you know, whatever. Just do 100 VH so it's your whole view height, right? There you go. And then that. No, did you hit run after you changed it? Yeah.
I did.
All right. Hit pat. Oh, it's padding bottom. Just take out that whole freaking padding bottom. Just take out that style. Good. I mean, I yeah. And then I guess you gotta, be able to scroll. So they put in that padding so people can scroll. You know what I'm saying? So
I
that you have
see.
a
I
long
see.
ass, height. So if you wanted, you can go and actually you could, yeah, you could add a lot of paragraphs, right? Like you could copy, those paragraphs that you have in that. You see that div that has a bunch of paragraphs. Yeah, you just drop them under that sticky all day, or just above that sticky all day. Yeah. All right, cool. Now run it. Copy that, Katie. All right, now scroll up. Let me see what we put up. Scroll up, or matter of fact, because so in a way it will never, the screen will never scroll to where the sticky kind of goes up because it's all the way at the bottom. So you want to probably put it somewhere in the middle. There you go. Run it. There you go, and then scroll. And then yeah, take that out and put a bunch of other p tags. Put the whole freaking p tag section over there. Just duplicate it. Yep. And then I think you copied the closing div, but you didn't copy the top div. And you can get rid of that last div, the last div, the last div that you have at the bottom, at the very bottom, before the body. Yeah, you get rid of that. All right, hit it, run it, and then scroll up. I guess you have two of those guys. Is that true? You have two
Yeah.
of those stickies. Okay, not keep the middle one. You want the middle one. Do you have yeah, okay, that's good. Okay, perfect. Now scroll all the way to the top. Or maybe we don't have enough paragraphs. So in a way, what we did there, instead of 20, just put like if you put a bunch more stuff in it, that 20 pixels it says when you have 20 pixels above you from the body, then stick. That's really what we're saying. So that's why when we have 0, it scrolls, and as long as that element has 0 pixels between it and the body, it sticks there.
Oh, I
Everybody tracking what
see.
I'm talking about?
So we need more content in between these
Get
two.
more content to push it all the way up. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just you could again, if you so let me see what that sticky is. So I only want one sticky
You
div.
have one at the
So only
start and then one here like in the middle.
no, no, screw that one in the middle. That's gonna confuse the hell out of us. Yep. And then run that. Okay. So this is where our sticky is. What the? Scroll up and then put 20 pixels instead of just 20. You forgot a PX. Top 20 pixels. All right. Run it.
Oh,
You
they're
see that?
finally there. Yeah.
Everybody tracking that? Any question about how the sticky position works? Anyone can put 30 pixels there instead of 20. All right, run it. So again, we're telling this element, hey, as long as, when you have 30 pixels above you from the body, stop. And everybody else basically just, again, this is another situation where the element gets lifted off the page, and it's literally like freeze that. Yes, yes, it's freeze pane in Excel. That's 110%. Yes, yes. How much sense does this make to everyone? 1 to 5. How much sense does this make? So would y'all agree that if you wanted a nav bar that never moved from the top, Ken, how would you do it? If you wanted that I'm sticky guy to be your nav bar, what would you put on the top?
I would put it on the top and then leave this top to 0 and it would just stick
Let's
there.
do it. Do it. Do it. Go ahead and do it.
Whoops. Okay, so
Do
let me
exactly
see.
do exactly what you just said. hmm I will put it under the body. I will not put it on that div because right now you have a bunch of shit on top of it. You don't want that.
Right. Okay.
All right. Now look at that.
Yeah, perfect.
Everybody tracking what we're talking about? Okay. Now, I think after Kyle, is your mic fixed up? Thank you, Ken.
I
That
don't
was
know.
really
Does it work
cool.
now?
Yeah, yes, sir. So now you kind of start
Ah,
with the fixed position. Merry Christmas.
yeah. Ken took the cool one. All right.
All right.
I move this over.
All
You guys
right.
see my screen?
Yes, yes, I can see it. If you zoom into your code just one time, I'll be good. Yep, I'm good. Okay, perfect. Now talk to me.
So basically, fixed position. So fixed position is the element position relative to the browser window. And so
Mm-hmm.
what I did here with this one is nope, that's not the one. That's the one. Is I made this Lorem 4 ID
Mm-hmm.
position fixed. Just
Mm-hmm.
for testing, I just made top and left.
Mm-hmm.
Top is 50% of the browser, well, the viewer height,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
50% of the viewer width, so it's easier. So, like, if we
Mm-hmm.
scroll in to get a scrollable, that
Mm-hmm.
Lorem
Mm-hmm.
4 stays in the middle. And then
Mm-hmm.
um, if we bring it back out and we readjust the
Mm-hmm.
browser window, it always
Mm-hmm.
stays in the middle of
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
browser window.
Yep. Yep. I'm about to throw a wrench in this whole thing. So here we go. So, oh no, stay right there. Stay right there. All right, you're still it. So what I want you to do, I want you to comment out line 33 and 35.
Oh, sorry.
Right? Perfect. All right. Even top, yeah, take that off. 30, 34 as well. 30, 33 through to 35. My bad. I should have said 33 through to 4, 35. All right. So now I want you to change what you have as border color. I want you to set them up as background colors. So everywhere you have border color, I want background color. So 25, 20, and 14. I want background color. All right. Phenomenal. All right. All right. Save it. Okay. Now I want you to go ahead and uncomment line 33. Okay. Uncomment your line 34 and 35. One by one, I think. Because you commented them out one by one, you're gonna have to uncomment them out line by one. All right, save it up. Okay, now max it out. Max out the thing and scroll. All right. See what happens. Scroll until have the green one scroll underneath it. Let's see if the green one will scroll underneath it. Yep. Or not. You can just go put a bunch of paragraphs there. So we just put a bunch of paragraphs underneath, so we can have some scrollable stuff. Under not that. Yeah. After 22, I guess. Just put like 10 of them in there. Uh, no, you good. Just Control Z, and just do
It's
it after
because sorry,
22.
it's wrapped.
Yeah,
It's wrapped.
yeah. After 22, you have to just put like 10 paragraphs. All right. Give me some Lorem Ipsum. Nice. That's sweet. Perfect. Save it. All right. Go ahead and scroll. Now, I want you to move Lorem 4, that p tag on 21 inside of that HTML on line 21. I want you to cut that p tag and I want you to put it right under the body, i.e., we're trying to replicate this whole navbar situation.
So this one.
Yep, take it out and put it directly under the body after line 10. All right, save it. Okay, look at your code. Yeah, where the hell is your, IE, where's up, where's our take out, and you see, y'all see what I'm talking about? Or go ahead and, on the Lorem 4, on line 34, put, take out the left, instead of, put 0 pixel, top 0 pixel. Just take out the left, just top 0 pixel, or 0. Top 0, or yeah. All right, save it. See that?
Yeah.
Now, scroll up. That nav bar is kind of jacked up, right? So that, if you start scrolling, right, you can see that everybody is no longer going underneath. Is that clear to everybody? First, the first thing that we experience is that when we set position fixed, just like absolute, our whole element just snaps out of the page. But not only that, but we lose our width. right? We lose our width. So what we're about to fix this is go to Lauren 4 and give it a width of 100%, i.e. take out the whole width of your parent, which is the body, right? Okay. Save that. The guy is all the way over there. Now, let me ask y'all, people, how do I tell that paragraph to be above everybody else? What did I say we got to use? The property, at least. Yeah, that Z index. So let's give it a Z index. And in this case, what's the number that you give it? And it's just a number to basically tell everybody, like, yo, this is the big zaddy. I want this dude at the top of everybody. You use whatever number you could think that's high, but technically you can just use one because everybody else is kind of like it has nothing set. So one is still bigger. But to communicate to everybody like, yo, this is the biggest, the highest important thing, I'll put like 100. So, just like, hey, this is really high. This has a really high Z index. So if you do that and save it, watch how everybody else moves around that guy. Now I'll scroll up. By tracking what we're talking about? How comfortable
Yep.
or how, like how much sense does this make to y'all? And, how confident do you feel like you can do something similar? All right. Katie, what did you say we had for break? Ooh, perfect timing. All right. Go take a break. When you come back, I will literally take what you learned in Flexbox and I'll just give you the perfect explanation for it and then we'll just move on. All right. Go. Take a 10-minute break.
Hey everyone, today I'm going to unbox the Dell U2722DE monitor. First of all, big thanks to Dell Singapore for providing me with this.
Let me pull up my screen. Hopefully, y'all can see my screen. And I'm hoping that y'all could still hear me.
All right. Roger. Perfect. So we're looking at the notes. So far, this is what we've covered. We just covered the first thing that we left over from yesterday. And then we're about to cover this, but I just, spent time filling out the different things that I want y'all to have access to. So um, over here, wireframing, basically draw.io guy. I'm gonna get you the link, draw.io, and right about there, bam, bow. All right. So draw.io is gonna allow you to pretty much go and create any mock-ups, wireframes that you want to visualize what you want to create. And then over here, I give you some resources for different places that you could go to get free stock photos for just about anything that you want for free to use in your sites. So for instance, this Unsplash guy, you go here, you're looking for anything. You want to, I don't know what you want. I don't know, Paris or I don't know, business. There you go. You got all kinds of free stuff. Like this is, you know what I mean? There you go. Yeah, I got you. I got you. I'll get to it. So if you got a resource, once I give you those notes, you'll get access. You'll can start sharing some resources as well. So if you looking for anything, same thing as Pixabay and so forth, right? So there you go. That's another whatever. Now this Andraw different. Okay, so when I'm talking about different, basically what you get is you create better design website products and application browse to find the images that fits your messaging, automatically customize the color to match your brand and use it as a normal image, embed code or directly in your design workflow. Huh? What do you mean? You go to browse, there you go. These are the illustrations that we're talking about. Let's say you want to find illustrations for, I don't know, business or marketing. You hit enter. These are all the different illustrations that they have for marketing. The color they're talking about is right here. If I were to go and choose a different color, all of these things start to come and match your colors. If you want to use them, all you do, you can download that PNG and you're good to go. Make sense? That's an image. You download it, it's yours. You can go use it in your website. Questions about this? Like about, how to use this little resource? Now, if you're saying like, okay, Nelly, but I'm horrible with colors. Like I don't know what color I should use on my page. I don't really know how to find, good styles and whatnot. Well, I got you covered too. So you could use these color palettes to pick any colors that go together, even if you suck at it. So probably go to Color Hunt, and you can find like some of these vibes. Designers have already put these, color palettes together. Let's say you want something that was, I don't know, teal related or something related. Boom, and then there you go. Those are some color palettes that you can pick, and then you got that hexadecimal for all your colors. And then let's say that you end up, let's say, picking this palette, right? You pick that you're gonna mainly use this for your main, I guess, anything, and then some of your links are gonna have this color, and then I don't know, whatever else is gonna have this, and maybe your footer has this, or whatever you want to do. And let's say, once you decide on these colors, let's say that you now want to grab some like, some of those uh, illustrations with this color. All you gotta do, I just copy that hex code. I'll go to Andraw, browse, and I'll just come in here and I'll just paste that color here, and there you have it. How much sense does that make? It's insane. Okay. So that's how you could start combining those things. So let's say, this is one resource. Again, Color Hunt. And then let's say that for some reason you don't like that, and you want color, you could use this as well. Same vibe, same thing. You just pretty much get a bunch of palettes. You can just look at a bunch of palettes. You can search by palette's name, whatever. You have a bunch of these, right? And matter of fact, you could even generate some palettes yourself. You could come in here, burning tomato, and just, okay, cool, I like this. And then, or, let's say I like this color, or I don't want to, actually, no, let's go here. I don't remember how to generate palettes with this thing. So I could go off of, I could say, okay, I want this, I like this. Or if you don't like it, you can just kind of get a random one real quick. And if you like this, you're like, ah, cool. I'm gonna go to the next one. And how do I hide this? Not drag, not customize. So I want to do this and then go here and get another one, right? Let's say I like, I don't know, this one. And I could go here and I could generate another one, right? So again, these are the hex colors that you need, and you can come here and play around with them. If you're satisfied, you got your palette, you can save your palette, you can name it, and that's your palette. You start using those colors all over your page. You can use those colors to get illustrations that you like. But let's say, I mean, anybody has any website that they like the way, their colors on that website? Anybody? And then you just always wonder, like, man, what colors do they use? I want to steal that color. Anyone? Any website that you look at, you're like, man, okay, if you're not willing to play it with me, let's go. CSStricks.com. Let's say I go there, not CSS Tricks, not .com, just CSS Tricks. CSS Tricks. There you go. That guy. Let's say I'm looking at this color and I really, really love it. And for the life of me, I don't know, right? I don't know what color this is. Well, I'm here to tell you, you can literally steal this color or repurpose this color, if you will. How? If you're on Chrome, go to Chrome extensions, and go to the Chrome Web Store and find an extension called ColorZilla. This is the guy, ColorZilla. So I'll go here and I'll copy this and I'll come down here, not this right here, and over here, ColorZilla. All right, this is Chrome extension. So if you're using any other browser, I don't know what they got there. All right. So once you got it on Chrome, what you're gonna have this little guy right here, this little icon right here. Once you have it, then it's a matter of, oh, you like this color? Easy that. Point that bad boy. Pick a color from any page. This works on any page there is. I just click that, pick a color. I'm moving around. This is my color. This is that color. If I say I like this one, let's say this one, that freaking purple, like orange thing, I could just move my cursor. I like that color. I could pick it. If I don't like that, I could find, let's say, this guy or whatever it is that you're looking for. If you like that, you just got to click on it. Click on it and you copy the hex code and Bob's your uncle. You could go get some illustrations if you wanted to, or you could just go to color wall or whatever and then just go off of that color, generate other colors. You could go to some Android vibe and you could just go get some, some of these icons that look like your colors, and then you're good to go. Questions? Y'all think this is cool, or it's kind of like waste of your time? There you go. ColorZilla works for Firefox as well. All right. So now, right? So hopefully these resources start showing you like, hey, damn, all of a sudden I'm a designer. You know what I'm saying? But what I want you to see is another thing right here, right? I think Katie was talking a little bit about this for a little bit, but basically, let's say that I have a palette, right? I have a palette and I want to use, let's say, a hex code for a specific color for different things. Now, right now, the way we write CSS, right? The way we write CSS, we basically set up a CSS declaration, background color, specify that color. Let's say we want to use another, that color somewhere else, but not as a background color, let's say as a border. You gotta say border, whatever one picks, whatever, and we're gonna specify that color. We gotta hard code that. Over time, if you keep reusing these colors, or even you have like some constants that you want to use different places, you probably make more sense to create variables that you can reuse. And if that variable changes, everything else around your page changes. You're tracking where I'm going with this? Basically, I want to be able to create variables inside of CSS. And I want to create some variables that are available across my whole page so that I can use them on my whole style sheet. Now, you got 5 minutes to figure out how to create variables in CSS. Go. If you figure it out, Katie, you want to show us? All right. Okay. Thank you. All right. 5 minutes. Figure it out on your own. 5 minutes. Go. Figure out how to create variables. Yep. There you go. Thank you. 5 minutes. Figure out how to use variables in CSS. And again, don't just read the definition. Just don't take their word for it. If you kind of understand it, go, try to put it in your own code and see if that works. 5 minutes. All right, 2 more minutes. Anybody figure it out already? All right. Perfect. If if you're done, again, I guess in the next 2 minutes, you just take a chill break until everybody else is done. So I got 3 people. That's 4. That is 5. That is 6. All right, one more minute. That's 7. 8. That's 9. That's 10. Yep, that's 12. All right, 13. Is there anybody that is still, I guess I haven't heard from Nathan? How you doing?
Yeah, I think I got it, but I'm kind of confused about the dash dash and the color code. Uh,
Oh,
yeah,
I got
yeah,
you, Shared.
yeah, kind of researching
That's
on
that's
that.
that's okay. That's all good. Anybody feel confident they can show us how it works and walk us through how that works? Let's go, Paul. Let's do it.
Am I doing that now?
Yeah, please. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead.
Let me pull it up real quick.
Mhm.
Where's my share button? Oh, there we go. Uh,
All right.
all right.
Okay. Yeah, I can see your screen.
Pretty much what
Yeah.
it is. All right. So pretty much what it is you are using.
No, I just lost you. I don't know if it's just me, but I just lost Paul. Can y'all hear him?
You're making it a way, making it to read using. So what I did for my code, the color into this section. Right? Oh,
Hey,
can you hear
Paul,
me?
you breaking up. Yeah,
Oh,
you
damn.
breaking up right now. Yeah, so it's all good. It's all good. But what you have is 110% correct right there. Yeah, for some reason your mic is all jacked up. But all right, so let me try to navigate you around your code. Let me try to help, since my mic can work, right? So I want you to zoom in a little bit and highlight line 1 to 4. Just zoom in a tad bit and highlight line 1 to 4 in your CSS, if you can hear me. Okay, it looks like the dude is frozen. Okay, there you go. I see you moving the mouse. Perfect. Zoom in a little bit. Do Control Command plus. Just zoom in a tad bit. All right. Hopefully y'all can see what he highlighted, right? So that colon root, that's basically us creating. We're basically saying, hey, we're about to create these variables, and these variables are going to be accessible across the whole style sheet. And to create variables in CSS, the variable names have to start with 2 dashes. Just how he said blue, dash dash blue. That's the variable name. Dash dash white, that's the variable name. Now, basically he just setting up, hey, whenever I want to use my blue variable, wherever I use it, the value is gonna be whatever he has as the value. Whatever he uses that dash dash weight, that's gonna be whatever the value. So now If you could go down and highlight line 25, please. Now, if you look at his line 25, right? Line 25, he's setting a background color. And to use the variable that you created, you have to use the var function in CSS. So you say var, and then inside of there, you just put in your variable. Now, Paul, if you do me a favor and go all the way after line 25 and start deleting, delete all the way to background color, just to 25, line 25, start deleting all the way to that column, to that, yep, and then start typing var. Type var and open the parentheses. There you go. Soon as you do that, it already kind of prompts you for all your variables that you have. Now, over here, he can pick whatever he wants, and therefore that var function is going to pretty much evaluate the value that's in that variable and use it instead. Thank you, Paul. Nathan, does that help? So, and then you're not just, the variables are not just for colors. I'm talking about any CSS value, right? Any CSS value. I'm talking about heights. I'm talking about anything that you've set up in a CSS declaration that goes to the right of the colon, you could create as a variable. You can store in a variable and then use it wherever the hell you want. How much sense does that make to everybody? And then can y'all see how that could turn your CSS into a more reusable CSS? You could imagine, so I'll show you a little example that I have here, right? So if I share my screen over here, hopefully y'all can see my screen. And what I'm showing you here is it's a little site that I'm putting together for this little side hustle that I have. And it's like this, right? And you can see there's a little consistency of colors, right? Like I picked my little, whatever color palette and stuff like that. You can see, hopefully you can guess where I got these illustrations from. It's exactly where you think I got them from. And then, I got all these little colors, but the way this all works is pretty much me saying, hey, look, I have some foreground color variable. I have an accent color. I have another accent color, and I have another accent color, and I have something that I want to use for background colors. And by the way, for my cursor, hey, I want you to use this image, and I want you, if you don't have the image, then just revert to a pointer. That is how, when I'm hovering over this, I got that, low hanging fruit. So I'm kind of using the fruits as the mouse cursor pretty much, right? So just showing you that I could, basically set the cursor, the custom cursor, and then you can see when I'm setting my background color, I'm using my background color variable. You can see that my cursor, I'm using my custom cursor, and I'm using that custom cursor in so many different places. If I ever changed that image, guess what? Everybody else is good to go. Same thing with all these foreground colors, right? So these foreground colors, if I show you, I'm using them in so many different places, but I'm not hard coding them. They're all defined up here. If I change my mind, it's just a matter of changing these guys and everybody else just adapts. Hopefully you can see the benefit of using variables in CSS. Any questions? All right, cool. So here we go. And hopefully y'all figured out, where to find those resources. But pretty much if you just go to like CSS variables or MDN, you get a mouth, like an earful of all kind of stuff. They mention inheritance from variables also. So inheritance from variables, like you gotta worry about that, Ken. If, say for instance, like as opposed to using this root selector, you can define variables. Say, let's say if I define these variables to only be in the header, then only the children, or only the elements who have header as the ancestor would inherit those variables, but everybody else has no access to them. But by putting these variables in the global, like when you say this root right here, it's the same thing as saying HTML. Everybody tracking? So by me putting these variables here, I'm basically saying every child of HTML, every freaking grandchild of HTML is gonna have access to these variables. Ken, does that clarify a little bit about inheritance in the variables? All right. Any other question, comment, insight? All right. Hopefully, from now on, I won't see a whole lot of hard-coded shit that keeps coming back and forth all the time. Hopefully. But we can only do as much as we can. All right. If you look at my code, I have a bunch of crap that's, we do what we can with the time we have. All right. So, okay. So now that we're here, all right. So I got my pretty much all these goodies pretty much good to go. Okay. All right. And the next thing that I want to show you is this stuff, right? And, pretty much this is the responsiveness. This is the thing that allows us to have our page respond accordingly, how we want, depending on the size of our viewport. Now, it's actually pretty cool, and I'll show you after you figure out what these CSS media queries are. So I want you to take 10 minutes, figure out CSS media queries. What the hell are they? How do they work? 10 minutes. Trust me, it's not rocket science as much as anyone here thinks. It's probably the simplest thing you've ever learned in CSS. It's literally one line of code. Let's go. Figure out what they are. And whenever you figure it out and you've tested it out and you feel confident that you can do it, tell me that you're good to go. If you figure out before 5 minutes. You're literally looking for one line. That's your mission. And the mission is to understand what that line allows you to do. There you go. All right, Katie, if you figure it out, try to go to maybe some of the past little applications that we put together. Try to see if you can set some breakpoints for yourself, saying, hey, when my screen width is like 500 pixels, I want to do a little something different than when my screen is like 300 pixels and all that, and then see how that works. But that's literally the baseline of what I was talking about. So if you figure out before my 5-minute mark, try to see if you can apply it to your site, any site that we build. All right, Benez is also good. So that's 3 people. Plus 2 minutes elapsed. Y'all got 3 more minutes. All right, Ken is good. Eric is good. Paul's good. All right, Kita's good. David ready. I mean, compared to everything else that you've had to wrap your head around, relatively speaking, where do you put media queries in complexity? Like too complex to understand, very kind of like, yeah, to understand what's happening. You know, like, yeah. All right. 2 more minutes for anybody that hasn't. Actually, David, not really. As long as you know what the breakpoint is, and that's what I'm about to show you. How do you pick a breakpoint? That's the hardest thing. As long as you know which breakpoint you need, the media query part is just the wrapper. What you put in there is the exact CSS that we've been doing. Yeah, that absolute took me damn near a whole week to understand really how the hell that shit works. Damn near a week, but I had to teach that myself. I had to decipher. And I was like, I just know HTML, I know a little bit of CSS. I'm trying to freaking wrap my head around. Absolute took me a minute. And all I had was just resources. I didn't know that I could just freaking YouTube that a lot of everything. Absolute was an ass kicker. All right. Is there anybody that's still trying to figure out how media queries work? If not, any yep, yep. All right. Anyone want to show me how the media queries work? Any volunteer? With an example? Let's do it. Let's do it. You checking that you have? Yeah, you can present. Let's do it.
All right.
Hopefully your mic works.
You see that screen, all right?
Yes, sir. And I can even hear you, man. This is an upgrade.
Good stuff. All right. So let me make sure I know what I'm showing. Okay.
Yeah, I'm seeing your VS Code. Yeah.
So for this one, it was, like I said, the Flexbox from FreeCodeCamp had a pretty good example.
Mhm.
Hang on, pull this over. It's really hard to see. So on here, it basically normally sets it. You can see when you inspect it that gallery image is being selected based on the width or the max width. So like if you go in and do something like this where you set the max width is 600, you can see where with 600 we've made the image width 100%, and that can be seen here, which is also, you can see that's here, and you can also see that it's striking out the one for 800 pixel width, which is 50%.
Yep.
So if we go and change this to 800, you can see that it's now using that 50% for the width of that image.
Yep. And that's about that, man. That's it. And then the thing that the new thing that y'all had to figure out is that line on 35 or 41. That little app media, but also understanding what that max width or min width means. Paul, can you explain to us what max width 600, what does that mean? I.e., those styles that are from, let's say that CSS rule on 42 to 44. When are those styles going to kick in? What does that max width of 600 mean? Oh, shit. Kidda, Do whatever you gotta do. I'm sorry. Damn. All right. Paul, can you hear me? All right, he just froze again. But anybody can anybody jump in and kind of help us understand what max width 600 pixels is all about?
Hey Nelly, this is Blair. I can take it.
Let's do it.
Jay kind of hit it. It's pretty much an if statement, like a true or false Boolean statement. So if the max width is 500, so basically 500 or less, do that condition. So if you change the background color, whatever's in that media statement, and you can also have kind of like Boolean values. You can set and or. So you could write the word and to have multiple conditions, or you could write a comma for basically an or statement. So if either of these is true, do whatever in that media class.
Fact, right? So in a way, really, the challenge becomes, how do I find the media query that I'm interested in? So that's kind of so there are two ways to go about it. You can either choose to build your site the way you want it on a big ass freaking screen. And then once you have it there, then you can start thinking, okay, is this website responsive? That's one option. And if you go that route, let me show you how to go about picking that breakout point, the breakpoints. So that 600 pixels, that's a breakpoint. That's literally where you want to break and start doing other stuff. So it's a breakpoint, right? So how do we find these breakpoints? That's what I'm about to show you. It's actually, I've shown it to you before, but it was like day one. So let me go back at it again. So technically what you want to do is, if you go the route of, I'm going to build my site for a big screen and then I'm going to allocate time to make it responsive, then you basically, start off like this, right? And then let's say you got your page, working the way it does and you like it. Then the next step is going to be, all right, cool. You know what? I'm going to go and get into my responsive design, right? We know how to set up that responsive design. I'm going to do this. But instead of, you can start, if you're interested in looking at how the phones is going to look like, you could do with the phones, but that's going to waste your time. What I recommend is you come and set up the responsiveness right here. Just dimensions, responsive. And let it basically look at it from to basically set up the biggest screen that you can, right? Okay, this is my screen at, I don't know, 2000 pixels, right? And if you want, you see here, we got little breakpoints, right? So small phones, you got 320. So at 320, how does your site look like? Then if you look at your site and it's all jacked up, matter of fact, let me pull this thing that I know it is jacked up. So let me do this. And I'm looking at this page from mobile. So my breakpoint is 320 pixels. I'm looking at this and it's a bag of trash. Everybody tries what I'm talking about? Trash. Could y'all agree?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now at this point, I know that I need to set up a breakpoint for 320 and then start styling these elements for them to behave how I want at this breakpoint. Everybody understand what I'm talking about? And then I'll increment a little bit. Go to, let's say, medium phones. And then somebody's like, but Nelly, I can't see this stuff. Well, if you go here, if you look at, not device, I mean, you could even show the media queries if you wanted to. Like, you could, this 480 and then 880, whatever. I always love going with these guys. I don't remember what these top guys are called, but I always go with, are those rulers? No, that's not. That's the ruler. Hide the ruler. Hide the media query. Anyway, that's my breakpoint. 320. Go. What does that look like? Go to the next, breakpoint, 375. What does that look like? Go to the other one for 25. What does that look like? Extend to a tablet. What does that look like? Maybe I don't need to do anything on the goddamn tablets. You see what I'm saying? Maybe the tablets, the tablets is where I start, from the tablet, from anything less than a tablet, I kind of need to start setting up some breakpoints to handle the responsiveness of my page. How clear is that? Picking breakpoints. And then if you want to see if your page is really responsive, you go all the way out and shrink it down and see where it starts, weirding out. See where it starts weirding out. Like, for instance, like maybe around here, I probably could make this font a little bigger. Maybe I could, reorganize things a little bit bigger. But if you look at, things that you use all the time, right? All the time. So if I say go to YouTube right now, and there you go. So I'm on YouTube. I'm in responsive mode. For some weird ass reason, everything is taking forever to load. I don't know what it is, but it says CNN or ESPN. Let's do that. Hopefully that loads up fast. Come on. How bad is my internet? It can't be that bad. No, it cannot be. Okay, there you go. So if I pull, not Outlook, not that. Like, I didn't mean to open that. So if I if I inspect this, I agree with that. If I inspect this, so I can start shrinking these guys and see how they behave. Like, you can see their breakpoints as well. So if you, like, for instance, if you get to a certain level, you can see how this bar is kind of starting to shrink up a little bit, and boom, you can see how this whole section, I think, gets all turned off or something. You see that? So that's their breakpoint. And then you go some more, other one. Hey, Ebenezer, can you mute yourself, please? All right, so basically, those are breakpoints. Any question about media queries? If no question, Katie, how we doing on a break? I know. Started having fun. All right. Y'all down with pushing through to the end, or y'all want a break? Push it? Let's do it. All right, cool. So right now, we basically kind of wrapped up this media craze, right? Now, question. You all went ahead and did some Flexbox. What can you tell me about Flexboxes? Just use the chat. What do you remember? Anything? Do you remember anything? All right, positioning elements of content, they're responsive. Oh, that's the key word that I'm looking for. Okay, here's the key word. In the word Flexbox, there are two words, flexible box. When you hear box, I want you to think container. Container. You need a container. That container is the flexible box. And everything inside of that box can be flexible because the box itself is flexible. That's where we're going to start. A flex box, you have to have a box to make into a flex box. Tracking? And as simple as that is, I'm about to show you something that's going to blow your mind a little bit. So we have the flexible box, Okay, let me pull not this guy, not that. And what I'm about to do is probably, let me just do this, open that, and I'm gonna collapse this, collapse all that. And then inside of HTML, CSS, this is what I want everybody to do. Create yourself a folder. We gotta call it Flexbox. Let's do it. Flexbox, bam, bam, bam. And then inside of there, just like we're used to, we're gonna put in an HTML page, we're gonna put in a CSS page. Let's do it. Index.html, and then we're gonna put in another one. We're gonna put in we're gonna put in a style.css. So here we go, style.css. Once you got this whole thing right, ready to go, set it up to where you can link your CSS to HTML, give me the boilerplate HTML, and get it ready to start putting together some boxes. Let's do it. So boilerplate HTML. And if I'm going too fast, please stop me. Like I'm pretty much speaking fast because at this point, I know that we've done this a whole lot of times. So it's just a matter of how fast can you type. Everybody agree with that? Like at least this, hey, setting up an HTML page, setting up a CSS page, linking them up. I'm hoping that at this point, this is some stuff that you can just pretty much do pretty fast. All right. So I'm here. I got my HTML, boom. Got my Flexbox title. And at this same point, I'm about to link to my CSS. Boom. Put my little dot right here. And then save it just to make sure. I'm going to just background color it. Body. Background color. Teal. Save this bad boy. Collapse this. Have my styles all the way to the right. Ready to cook. And let's see if we're cooking with some Crisco right now. There we go. Bow. We're cooking. The kitchen is full and ready. Okay, so now at this point, I want to show you when we're talking about flex boxes, like I said, we need boxes. And for that, we're just going to create a very, very, very simple structure. And this structure is going to be like this. We're going to have one div. Inside that div, we're just going to have p tags. What we're going to do, every p tag, we're just going to put a border around it. We're going to put some padding on that paragraph. And basically those paragraphs are going to be contained within a little box looking container because of the border. And then every single one of those p tags, they're going to just be a bunch of p tags, and around the p tag, there's going to be one big div. That's it. A div with a bunch of p tags. One div with a bunch of p tags. So to make it just all kind of crazy, I'm going to create a div, and inside of that div, I'm going to put in like 50 p tags, just because why not? Actually, I don't know if 50 is going to be a good idea. Let me just do div, and then I'm going to do p times 10 and see. Okay, that's good. Okay, because I was afraid those p tags would be lined up. So let's go. P times 50 tab. There we got it. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to select this whole thing. Again, you don't got to copy, paste all these guys all the time. You just come down here, put this whole cursor right here, lorem ipsum it, boom, done. Save, and we got a bunch of crap that looks like that. That's what we got. And then right now, I'm going to wrap it. And then what we're going to do, every p tag is going to get a class. Every p tag is going to get a class. So how are we going to do it? Well, I know that every p tag, every opening p tag starts like this. All I need to do, I could just find every p tag, every opening p tag, and get a cursor there. To do that, I select my first p tag, and I'll just Command D until I ain't got no more p tags. Literally, I'm gonna hold Command D on my Mac or Control D on your Windows until you ain't got no more opening p tags. All right, so this is all I got. So this is what I got. Select this guy, and then Control D until I ain't got no more. Going all the way down. Look at that. I'm just holding it down. It's just boom. I'm done. right? I got all the P tags selected. I'm just gonna use my left, my left arrow, my right arrow to move my little cursors right here, and I'll just out of class. Boom. Every P tag is getting the same class. Boom, boom, boom. And then I'm just call them P boxes. It's a paragraph box. That's what I'm calling it. P_box. Once I got that class, I got this. And then all I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna make every P tag, every P box, I'm just gonna create a border around it, and I'm gonna make those P tags have some padding so that they can breathe within their little boxes. And I put margins between them so that they can be separated a little bit. Here we go. So I'm right here, and I'm about to say, hey, get my P_box and give this bad boy a border of 1 pixel solid, and I'm gonna make it red just to spice it up. And I'm gonna say, hey, for padding, give them a 10 pixel all around, and then for margin, put some 10 pixels in between them, please, just so we can see them. Can I do the class thing again? 100% I can. So I got you. So all I'm gonna do, I'm gonna Command Z it, right? I'm right here. So right now I have a crap ton of P tags, and I want to give them all at the same time in class. All I need is, again, realizing what my pattern is. To add an attribute, I want to select my opening P tag. When I select this opening P tag, I can go and find every other occurrence of that. I think the reason why it's selecting the ending one, I think you probably by mistake highlighted that. I don't know. But if you go ahead and just highlight that guy, hold down Control or Command D all the way down, bothers your uncle in a little bit. There you go. And then boom, Shock, I got you. I'll send you back in a second. Give me a sec. Class, and then P. I got to. All right. All right, Kyle, you can give him some shit for a little bit. And then right now, right, I got my P tag, right? I got some P box ready to go. And then let's get Shock out of here. It's causing a lot of trouble right now. Shock, how y'all doing in your group? Oh, everybody done. All right, man. Have a wonderful weekend. All right. Peace out, man. All right. So here we go, right? So I got my P. Hey, David, was that helpful to you? Still not working. Oh, man. Okay. Let me finish this real quick, yeah? Let me finish what I'm about to set up. You might need to probably like work with like 10 paragraphs instead of 50. You know what I mean? Oh, good. Okay, cool. All right. So I got my my P box is 1 pixel solid, margin pixels, whatever. Boom, boom, boom. Save it up. I got these little, babies looking like that. Okay. Now, at this point, right? At this point, this is all I got. This is all the paragraphs I got. Right now, I'm about to take off that till because it's kind of giving me an eyesore right now. There you go. This kind of looks all right. It's okay. No, this is the best that we can do so far. But if we wanted to see how Flexbox work, what I'm going to ask y'all that you do is go ahead and inspect this page. Just so that I don't assume that everybody's done, I'm going to give you time. Let me know whenever you have a structure like this, whenever you have one div that has a shit ton of P tags in there, and your P tags just have a border, some padding, and a margin. All right. Is there anybody that needs time to type? And I got you. How do I select one piece of text into all? Okay, let me explain again. It's shit. Okay, I can't select it. Oh God. Forget it. I'm gonna close it. Okay, so To select, you just basically, let's say if I wanted to select everywhere that I have class P box, literally it's me selecting class like so, right? But I have one cursor there. If I wanted to change this, I'm just changing that one line. If I want to change everywhere that I have class P box, I gotta hold Command down or Control if you have a Windows, Command if you have a Mac, Command or Control, and then D, Delta, D, right? Boom, 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 boom. And then I'll have like all the cursors. And then you can just start typing. If I start typing or deleting stuff, like I'm typing everywhere. Paul, does that help? Perfect. Okay. Now I'm here and I'm gonna open this in live server. Hopefully, yep, there you go. I'm asking everyone to inspect their pages. I'm about to blow your mind in a second. So if I want to make all these P tags, kind of like move however I want, who do I need to make into a flex box? Which element? That parent div, right? It's the box that has all these elements, right? So here we go. Now, this is about to just kill you, but I'm ready for it. Go in here in the element style and type in display and then flex. And you're like, yeah, Nelly, that just jacked up my page. That's not good. Sure. But why? Why did we go from these guys like this to that? Anybody? Because the default for flex is left to right. Okay, I like that answer. The default what? Kyle, you're close. Row. Yes, the default what is row? Default axis. Yes, the default axis is, the x-axis. But Kyle, I want to go with what you said. Row. It's the direction. I'm omitting the first thing. It's like something dash direction. What is it? Row column. What is it? Starts with F.
Flex direction.
Flex direction. There you go. So here is where we start getting insane, right? But to prevent you from going nuts, I have this bad boy right here. So basically, when you're dealing with flex boxes, there's always two axes, right? There's what we call the main axis, and there's what we call the cross axes, right? I want you to kind of like remember that. There's the axis and there's the direction, right? There's the direction and there is the axis. The direction dictates the axis. So if I just say display flex, by default, what's the flex direction? Row. And as such, what is the main axis? X. The cross axis is whatever just crosses the freaking main one. So what is the cross axis at this point? Y, right? Everybody agree with that? Flex direction row, main axis X, cross axis Y. By checking that, now I'm here to tell you that when it comes to those two properties at the top, justified content and align items, justified content always is moving things along the main axis. Align items move your items always along the cross axis. So, with that being said, if I go here, again, what is my main axis right now? What is my main axis? X. What is my cross axis? Y. And again, oh God, let's go. The align items moves your items always along the cross axis. So if I'm looking at this guy and my main axis goes like this, my cross axis goes like that. If I wanted to center all of these elements dead center vertically, what should I use? This is the cross axis. Okay, I'll show you my little thing again. I want to center them vertically on the cross axis. What should I use? Okay, align items, not content, right? Align items, right? But let's say you're not sure. I want you to click on this little guy over here and see what happens. And let out whatever expression you want, how you feel right now. If you click this guy, you literally get a visual editor into your Flexbox, all right? Now, if I want, again, I know that align items, if I center these guys, it's moving across my cross axis. So, wait a second. Align items, center. Yeah, sure. It's centered right now. You just can't see it, but I know it's centered. How do I know? I just trust the training. I just know that it's centered, but the height is just too small, so we can't really see the move. Everybody tracking? The height is fitting the content, so we can't really see them centered. But if I told this dude, so if I'm looking at my body is also kind of like taking the size of the content. If I wanted my body to be 100% of this whole viewport, what would I do? What would you do? If you wanted the body height to occupy all the visible space that you see right now, how would you set its height? What dimensions would you use? Yeah, I want to set the height, but what value would you give to the height? I want the body height to occupy this whole space. 100%? If you give it 100%, you're literally telling it to take 100% of HTML. HTML kind of screwed as well. Same, you're 110% correct. So I could tell my body to take up 100 VH. Everybody remember what VH stands for? All right, type it in. You're just making me start. What does VH stand for? Yup. Viewport height. Yup. There you go. So if I do 100 VH, now all of a sudden my body's like this, right? Now, what would I have to tell my div as height so that it can also take up as much? Not VH. VH, that's basically like redundant. How would I make my div pretty much, match the energy of, not relative positioning. So I want to set the height of my div. What do I give it? My div is a child to the body. I don't want to type in 100 VH because I've already done that to the body. It's 100 what? Y'all was pasting that earlier. 100. There you go. Thank you so much. 100%. 100% of who? Of the parent. Everybody tracking what I'm talking about? So I just went ahead to the body, gave it 100 VH so that I know that my body is occupying my whole space. Now I can go to the div and tell my, hey, take 100% of your parent's height. How much sense does that make to y'all? And I want to show you that literally this line is what allowed us to center all these elements right there. Right? How much sense does it make that align items always centers elements literally across the cross axis? Always. But now, look at that. But what if, right? What if I also wanted my P box, right? Let me say. So we're about to basically copy these bad boys and then go to our styles, and we want to set it up to our div that we're going to give a class of container or something. All right? So, or flex container. I think that makes more sense. Or even flex box or something, whatever. So, flex container, paste that in there, and we're good. But our plans gets cutting short real fast if we say that we want to actually give a specific dimension to our paragraph. Let me say that I want all my paragraph to have a width of exactly 300 pixels, and I want the height to also be 300 pixels. 300 by 300. And I gotta save this guy, and then we come here. P box 300 by 300, but y'all can see what the issue is right now, where I've set my height and width. I guess my height right now is kind of jacked up though. You'll see what I'm talking about? Like my content is literally going past my container, my paragraph. Anybody know how I can fix this? I.e., I want to contain all of this inside their own container. And if there is extra, I want to be able to scroll through these guys. Check this out. What would you say if somebody asked you in English, how would you describe what's happening to, let's say, this box? You would say that the P content is what over this border? Is what? If you pour water into a glass to where it spills, what's the other word of spilling? It's overflowing, right? And if you want it to overflow in the y direction, look at this. Overflow, Y, scroll. And at this moment, we're scrolling, all right. But right now, even though I told it to take up a width of 300 pixels, what's happening is my what would I say? My flex box is literally squeezing the hell out of these P tags to be able to fit them into this space that I have, but for some reason it just can't, right? Because there are too many. There's just too many freaking paragraphs, and right now, unfortunately, we can't fit them in there. And the issue that we're having, even though y'all think that this is a good scroll, if I were to add anything else above here, let's say I add a P tag here and I just say it's a lorem ipsum, this is scrolling with the whole freaking page. So it's not really a regular scroll vibe that we're getting. We're getting kind of messed up right now. So I'm gonna go edit my paragraph to make it, overflow, but we got an issue to solve, right? So I'm gonna come here in my P box and I'm just gonna say, hey, overflow Y, let's say scroll, But right about now, we're kind of messed up because as you see here, this is not good. Again, the Flexbox is doing all that it can to fit all these 50 P tags in this space. And you can see that the more I increment this, it's like, look, that's the best that the Flexbox can be. Anybody got a resolution to kind of make these P tags kind of grow? And then if they hit the wall, kind of keep kind of coming down and snaking down? Yep. All right, there you go, flex wrap, right? So if we come down here, you just try this guy, flex wrap. Pretty not bad. Pretty not bad. Okay, again, remember, what's the main axis again? X. And what helps us move items on the main axis? Nope. Flex direction sets the axes. What property? There you go. These are the properties that I'm talking about, right? Justified content always moves items on the main axis. Align items always moves items on the cross axis. So, that being said, if I wanted to center these elements on the main axis, i.e., if this is the main axis, center them will center them dead center, what would I do? Justify content center. Yes, sir. Let's do it. Justify content center. Bow. Like, don't like. And then the cool thing about this, when you wrap things, it's actually an easy day. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just going to keep wrapping all day. Tracking? Any questions right now, as far as the things that I just covered right now? Any questions? Now just copy these guys, go to my styles, paste them in my flex container. Oops. Oh, wow. No, that's not what I wanted. Snap. Okay, so I wanted my flex container, align items, justify content center. And then I also wanted flex wrap to be wrap, like so. And there we go. Any question? I understand. Do you have a question for me? I see you typing, but if you got a question, you can just talk to me if you want. All right. I was just going to say that it's like the frog game, 110%. But now, what if though? What if somebody was like, no, fam, I want this vibe. I want the Netflix life. I want just go to Netflix home. I want the Netflix. I want the I want this vibe of kind of like scrolling like so. Like I want to scroll through my stuff. How would I do it? Can I do it? Hell yeah, you can. So all I gotta do, I gotta take this flex wrap off and just try to figure out how the hell I'm gonna do that. Right? So kind of like Netflix scroll, like that scroll of like you're scrolling through content, whatever you want, right? So how would you do that? Well, the wrap was kind of allowing us for it to wrap, but I don't want it to wrap. I actually want it to go all the way past my page. But when it goes past my page, I don't, I want it to keep its dimensions and I don't want it to scroll with everything that I have. I just want to scroll into this guy. Everybody tracking what I'm saying? All right. So here's the trick. The trick is right now, as far as these P tags are concerned, they're all trying to like they're trying to fit into this dress for a wedding, but unfortunately, it's not happening. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna set them free. We're just gonna tell them like, hey, you know what? Why don't you grow as much as you need? All right. But to do that, it's almost like we have to create a container within a container. And I'll show you what I mean by that. And this is where, Kyle, thank you very much for everything that you've showed us today. So all I need to do, I can just, instead of, say, for instance, making this the flex container, let me call this guy the, this flex container dude. I'm also going to tell him, like, look at this. Like, if I take out the flex wrap and I tell this dude, I'm like, hey, man, look, for your width, what do you think I'm about to type in here? Something that doesn't work for Firefox, people. Not auto. Right? If I tell it to fit the, if I tell this flex container to fit the content, oh, easy day. All my P ties are kind of breathing right now, which is, one down. Everybody agree? That's one down from where we were, in Chrome, right? All right. And then basically, for those of y'all that are kind of trying to figure out, like, how do I get my pages to work on all the different browsers? What you're looking for is browser compatibility. Go there and try to follow that rabbit hole. All right. So I got my fit content in here. So I'm taking off the flex wrap, and then I'm going to do, width, fit content. You're like, okay, Nelly, that's kind of sweet. Okay, that's good. But now, how do I lock this thing down and make it actually scroll through? Easy day. I just got to give it a container and tell that container to overflow where? Which direction do I want to overflow this guy? I have two overflows. Y or overflow what? If there's an overflow dash, there you go, overflow X, right? So all I want to do, I want to come down up here, and I'll select this guy, and I want to use my shortcut, thank you, Kyle, and I'll just get this dude a div, right? And I give this dude a div. All I want to do is kind of save this. Oh, I didn't give the div. Oh, that sucks. Okay, I gotta select that, give it a div, and then enter to confirm. Yep, I like that. Save that layout, come back here. Now I have a div containing my flex container. All I gotta do, tell this dude, hey boss, just, like if you look at this div, by default, any block, what's the width of any block element? By default, every block element takes up what? The whole width. It's just the whole width. And then I can just tell this dude, hey man, overflow X for me. And scroll through that. And then watch this. I don't know. If this is not cool, I don't know what y'all want from me. I do not know what y'all want from me. Yeah, nay, not impressed. All right, so at this point, this is like boom, 6:30. Nelly, I gotta go, man. My head hurts. Whatever. So this is what I'm gonna do for you. Okay. So this code that I just wrote, I'm aware that I pretty much put it together fast. And some of you were following. Some of you like, nah, you lost me a long time ago. So here we go. I'm about to put together Flex Box. I'm about to give you a gist. All right. So this is your index.html. And I'm about to add a style.css, and then go find that code that I just put together. Select everything that's in our HTML, copy it. All right. And then find the styles, select everything, copy it. And then create a public gist, bow. Boom, boom. And then I'm gonna put it in your notes. I got you, sir. Robert, kill it sometimes. All right, let's do this. Flex, box, recap. All right. In class activity. All right. And so we covered this little bit, and we have all this other stuff to cover, right? Again, this is day 4. That's fine. What I'm going to ask you to do for my homework, is take this weekend, take 24 hours off completely. Unless there, you feel like there's, for the life of you can't put a computer down, but I'm prescribing a 24-hour, just cool down, don't do nothing, right? The next day, my homework is not this, because we don't have everything that I want you to basically build your personal website on. What I want you to do for this weekend, I want you to find time and use any resource that you can find to get up to speed to where we are. And give me my 5-minute video. Is that fair? Is that okay? So basically, my homework this weekend, hey man, y'all grown, figure out what time you need to catch up, but all I'm asking you to do, catch up to where we are. My deliverable, I want a 5-minute video of all the things that we've covered up to this. I mean, the things that have stuck to you. And when I'm saying the things that have stuck to you, please, I mean, again, it's up to you, right? But what I'm after seeing different little things that you're trying on your own, right? Show me something that you put together. Show me some of the code that you've written. Explain to me how the hell that works, right? If you really understand it, show me something that you put together and walk me through how all that stuff works. How much sense does this all make? How much sense of what I expect you to do, what I want by Monday, and so forth? All right. If that's clear, Nathan, I'm about to post today's notes. Okay? Here we go. Day 4, notes by Nelly. All right. Here we go. And any questions for me? Well, if none, I hope and I wish you a beautiful, wonderful weekend. Make sure that, again, you've worked very, very hard this week. Give yourself some credit. If you want to feel sorry for yourself that you're a little behind, look at yourself in the mirror and look at what you knew last week. Ask yourself if you got any better this week. If the answer is yes, do whatever you do to celebrate. And then come back Monday ready to eat. All right. Peace out. Have a wonderful weekend. See you Monday. And also, do not forget Ivy's survey, because if you forget it, she's going to pull up Monday. She's going to take up some class time telling y'all to fill out her survey.